and welcome. I'm Synth, and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about thriller books and all book related things, really. Today, I've got 6 thriller books that I think are really underrated, but I absolutely loved. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and convince you to read them, and hopefully, you will like them as much as I did. Starting with The Woman in Coach D by Sarah A. Denzel. This one I picked up completely blind. I did not know what it was about other than assuming that it was about someone on a train. So this follows Jenny, who 16 years prior survived a really tragic accident, but her best friend Susie disappeared. She's presumed dead. And obviously, because Jenny survived, all the fingers are pointing to Jenny. Now, 16 years forward, Jenny's just stuck in a rut. She takes the same train every week, and until one day she gets on the train, and who does she see? Susie. So she then starts trying to see her again, and lots of things unravel. She starts getting letters, and she's having to take a little trip down memory lane, and she starts to try and figure out what happened to Susie. And yeah, I did not guess the ending. It was a little bit mad, but I really enjoyed it, so I hope you would enjoy it too. What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty. Now, this is a book that I read probably almost 10 years ago, a really long time. I can't remember when it came out, but it was a very long time. But it stayed with me. It's a book that whenever someone wants to read an interesting thriller / mystery kind of book, I always recommend this one. It follows Alice, who she slips while she's in an aerobics class, so whatever exercise class she's in, and she bangs her head. She ends up in hospital, and she wakes up one day and she thinks she's fine. She thinks that she's 29 and that she loves chocolate, and she's got a new house and she's newly engaged, and that her fiance is called Nick, and that she's pregnant with her first baby. But she isn't. That's actually 10 years prior. She's now 39, and obviously all these things have already happened, so she's missing a whole decade of her life, and her life is not as happy as it appears, and she starts to find things out and figure out things, and it's really interesting to see her discover her life again. So yeah, What Alice Forgot, I would recommend. The Pact by Sharon Bolton. I have seen this mentioned not quite a few times, but I've seen it mentioned a few times. I read this in maybe like mid 2024, and I was really hooked. It's about this group of friends in Oxford who've just finished their school and just about to go into summer, and they start doing some silly daredevil games, and something really bad happens, and 18-year-old Meg takes the fall for them. She makes a pact. She says, look, I will go to prison for you all. I will say it's my fault, but then you will all owe me a favor. And then 20 years later, she's out and she's coming to collect her favors. Every Little Breath by Kerry Beavis. I read another book by Kerry Beavis called Trust No One, I think, and it was really good. But this one I really enjoyed. It was one of those books. I was on a road trip and I was flicking through my Kindle to see which books were free on Prime, and this was one of these. Obviously I liked it so much I actually bought a physical copy, and it was really interesting. It follows this girl who, when she was 19 years old, she stumbled upon her boyfriend's father's serial unalived den, basically, and she then becomes obviously a key witness, and she helps take him down. He ends up going to prison, and then this follows her story 15 years later. She's a DJ, a radio DJ, but then she starts getting tormented by like by gruesome requests online on air, and there's this serial unaliver that's now doing lots of stuff and getting her involved. So she's worrying that it's something to do with his boyfriend, but obviously he's not there anymore. So it is very interesting. I devoured this one. It's quite chunky, but I still read it quite quickly. Definitely give it a go. A Killer in the Family by Githa Lodge. I think that's how you say it. So this follows Ashley. She's always had a bit of a sad family life. She's never known her father, and her mother's just passed away, so she's grieving. She's got all she's got left is her 2 sons. She's estranged from, like, she's not with her husband, like the father of the kids anymore, and she decides she wants to find out a little bit more about her family. So she submits her DNA on one of those like his ancestry websites, and someone gets in touch with her. So she's obviously quite excited, but instead of finding her father, who she's hoping to find, it's actually a detective that comes and meets her and tells her that her DNA matched with the DNA of a potential serial unaliver. Like, he's investigating the case and the DNA is all matched that. So she's now obviously thinking, oh my days, I'm related to a serial unaliver. Who can it be? I've only got my 2 sons, and it's really interesting and really well written, the way it sort of unfolds and unravels. So yeah, I would definitely give this a go. Angel Maker by Morgan Green. This one, I picked it up completely blind. I didn't really know what it was going to be about, but basically it's the first book in the D.I. Jamie Johansson series. She's a London detective, but she goes back to Stockholm, where her dad was a detective, where she's originally from, because a teenage girl has been found unalived in the woods, and the way the unaliving happened is exactly the same as her serial unaliver that was caught and put in prison 20 years prior. Her dad was the original investigator and detective on the case. He's the one who put the serial unaliver in prison. So she's then going back to help with the case and try to unlock some memories, because she was quite close to her dad and at the time of the investigation. The twist, unexpected. Definitely recommend this one. Not one that I hear of very often, so give this a go. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it's convinced you to read at least one, maybe, or all of them. I'm not sure. But yeah, so if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. And again, please subscribe if you've enjoyed this. And I am on Instagram and I'm on BookTok as well. So if you want more recommendations, please don't hesitate to follow me. And I hope I can bring you some more content. Have a lovely day.